in the short break anyway. Short one. All right. I think we can go. I think we can go ahead, and if she joins, then she joins. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is 10:16 on Wednesday, July 8th. This special meeting of the City Council of Montpelier is called to order. Before we begin, we have at least one member on Zoom. So, Councilor Brown, will you please identify yourself?
Carrie Brown, District 3.
Great, thank you. Currently, Councilor Cohn is not in the room, but we have 4 other councilors and the mayor in the room, so we do have 6 of us present. At our meeting, please display your first and last name if you're joining remotely. When speaking, state your name and where you live. Please keep your comments to about 3 minutes so other people have the opportunity to speak. If you have several questions, please ask them together. Focus your comments on the agenda item under discussion. Direct your remarks towards policies, decisions, and ideas, not individuals. Please avoid comments about a person's character or intent. Wait to be recognized by the mayor before speaking, and follow the rules of procedure included in the agenda packet, which guide how the meeting is conducted and may be applied as needed to maintain orderly discussion. So the first item on or the next item on the agenda, rather, is to approve the agenda. If there are no objections, then we will approve it by unanimous consent. Seeing no objection, the agenda is approved as presented. Moving on to general business and appearances. At this point, any member of the public may speak on any topic. Is there anyone in the room or on Zoom that would like to speak? Seeing no one, we will close general business and appearances, and we'll move on to the first piece of meat in the agenda, item number 5, the allegation of open meeting law violation. I'll tee this one up. On July 7th, 2026, that's yesterday, the city received a written notice of 5 different alleged open meeting law violations from Mr. Stephen Whitaker regarding the city's July 6th, that's Monday, 2026, 6 p.m. special meeting and requesting specific cures. Under Vermont law, upon receipt of a written notice of alleged violations, the city may choose to respond publicly within 10 days as to whether it agrees there was a violation or whether it determines there was no violation. If it does not respond within that time frame, the allegations are deemed denied. Mr. Whitaker's notice of the 5 allegations and requested cures has been provided to each councilor prior to this meeting, and I propose that we go through them one by one. I will first state the allegation and then give my perspective on the allegation. I will then open it up for council discussion and then a motion to admit or deny as the movement sees appropriate. We can proceed on each motion individually. We will not hear public comment during this process. If any allegations are admitted, we will then have 14 calendar days to cure the admitted violation, which we can address at a later time if such an event arises. If all are denied, that will end the city's involvement with the notice. So here we go. Allegation number 1, and I will read the allegation. No specific subject by subject finding. The statute requires, quote, a specific finding that premature general public knowledge would clearly place the public body or a person involved at a substantial disadvantage, end quote. A single finding spanning 3 distinct subjects is not, quote, specific as to any of them. The mismatch is concrete. The litigation ground cannot apply to legal advice on ordinances the city has not yet adopted, and as to which no litigation is pending. Bundling forced one finding and one pair of grounds onto 3 subjects they do not uniformly fit. Response, we believe this is wrong. I believe this is wrong. The mayor introduced that the meeting was to hear legal advice about 3 identified topics, as spelled out in the agenda and the attachment thereto. The mayor explained several times that no decisions would be made, but that the purpose was for legal advice from attorneys. At around the 13-minute, 22-second point, the mayor introduced the 2-part motion needed, again explaining the 3 points to receive legal advice upon. At 14 minutes 26, the mayor asked for a councilor to move a finding. The mayor asked for a motion that premature public knowledge of potential liabilities to the city on encampments, legal strategy about the East State right-of-way, and legal advice on morals and conduct ordinances would clearly place the city or person involved in a substantial disadvantage by disclosing risks to the city and potential litigation strategy and advice given as confidential attorney-client privilege. Councillor Doyle so moved the request, which was seconded by Councillor Brown. There was no discussion. It was unanimous, no abstentions, no objections. The three subjects were all under the same principal topic of legal update, as clarified by the attachment to the agenda. The mayor then asked for the motion. It's okay to refer to myself in the third person. I'm just going to continue. The mayor then asked for the motion about the same identified issues to enter executive session under the 313A1E litigation and F legal advice. Councillor Alfano moved, Councillor Brown noted, adding certain individuals. The mayor, I proposed the amendment to add certain individuals per each item. Councillor Alfano accepted the amendment. Councillor Brown seconded. No discussion. All in favor, no opposed, no abstention. The grouping of E and F for all three clearly covered that which they apply to. Insofar as E was more likely than not as to the East State right-of-way, rather than the other two topics, it could also apply to each, given the litigious nature of folks regarding the same. Also, F clearly applied to all three. So the recommendation is that we deny allegation number 1. Any clarifying questions from council? Seeing none, is there a movement to approve or deny?
I will move to deny allegation number 1.
Okay, we have a motion to deny allegation number 1. Is there a second?
Can
Second.
I say so? Sorry. Can I say something?
Oh,
I was
sorry, I
not,
didn't see you come in there. First, Councillor Cohn, please just identify yourself for the record.
yeah. Pelincon District 2.
Thank you. Go ahead with your comment.
I was not in the meeting, so I don't think I need to vote, right? Because I wasn't there.
You are welcome to vote. You can also abstain if you like.
Okay, because before when we were not in the meeting, we don't participate to voting. So that's why I just want to be clear about that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for the clarification. Any other comments or questions from council? We do have a motion and a second. Any discussion or debate on the topic? The motion is to deny allegation number 1. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? And we have 1 abstention from Councillor Cohn. Is that okay that I say that for you? Any abstentions?
Yeah, we need to check if the abstention is the right word or
I
legal.
mean, in any
Because
case,
I
if you
wasn't
abstain,
here.
it's not wrong.
Yeah, because I wasn't in the meeting. Thank you.
We have 5 ayes, no noes, and 1 abstention. The motion passes. Allegation number 1 is denied. Sorry, Palin, about being so clumsy about this. I'm also trying to move quickly. Allegation number 2. This is the allegation. Consideration of matters beyond a single stated business. A motion to enter executive session, quote, shall indicate the nature of the business of the executive session and no other matter may be considered, end quote. 3 distinct subjects considered under one motion in one undifferentiated session is the consideration of multiple matters, not one. The mayor's stated limit, advice only, no deliberation, underscores the point. If any policy deliberation on the ordinances occurred, it exceeded that limit. The response here is also wrong. There's no violation actually alleged. The council was in to discuss the ins and outs of probable litigation and to receive legal advice regarding the 3 identified subjects. Part of that involves discussing the merits, facts, and policy and applying it to legal advice. Ultimately, any actual policy discussion preceding a public vote will happen in open session. There is no actual identified allegation of wrongdoing, nothing to do here given that there is no actual allegation of a violation. He just says, if any deliberation occurred, but identifies no point for analysis of a possible open meeting law violation. The recommendation is to deny. Any clarifying questions from council? Seeing none, we'll take a motion to accept or deny allegation number 2.
I'll move to deny allegation number 2.
Thank you, Councillor Alfano. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Councillor Doyle. Any discussion or debate on the topic? All right, the motion is to deny allegation number 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any objections? and Counselor Cohn abstains. So we have 5 yes, no nos, 1 abstention. The motion passes. Allegation number 2 is denied. Allegation number 3,
Excuse me, sir. I just would notice it's admit or deny.
admit or deny. What am I saying? Accept? Okay. In any case, the motion to deny carries. Thanks. Thank you for the clarification. Number 3, attendance without sequestration. Attendance is limited to members and, in the body's discretion, quote, its staff, clerical assistants, and legal counsel, and persons who are subjects of the discussion or whose information is needed, end quote. Although participants were named by subject, the council held 1 combined session in which every participant was present for all 3 subjects, including subjects for which they were not named and no need was stated. Persons named only for one subject were present during the others. The body did not establish for each participant a basis for each subject discussed in that person's presence. This allegation is also wrong. The folks for the first and second item did not stick around for all 3 topics. The open meeting law simply provides that the public body may, in its discretion, bring whomever it wishes into the executive session. Specifically, it says, quote, in the discretion of the public body, its staff, clerical assistants, and legal counsel, and persons who are subject of the discussion or whose information is needed. The individuals brought in all fit that, and they participated as allowed by law. Mr. Whitaker's allegation is factually incorrect, but he's not entitled to know that under the open meeting law executive session provisions. So the recommendation here, again, is to deny. Are there clarifying questions from anyone on council? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to deny or admit.
I will move to deny allegation number 3.
Thank you, Councilor Alfano. Any second?
A second.
All right, Alfano and Doyle doing all the heavy lifting here. Is there any discussion or debate on the topic? All right, the motion is to deny allegation number 3. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? None. And Councilor Cohn abstaining again. We have 5 yes, 0 no's, 1 abstention. The motion to deny allegation number 3 passes. Excuse me. Allegation number 4. It's a little bit longer, so stick with me. An interested abutter was present for the East State Street portion, 313B. City records identify the property at 44 East State Street, parcel 041-044000, as owned by Tarrant and Gillies Realty, and certified mail notice produced in response to a public records request lists that firm among the abutting property owners notified in connection with the East State Street right-of-way survey. Mike Tarrant, associated with that firm, was named to and admitted for the East State Street portion of the July 6th executive session. An abutter with a property interest in the surveyed right-of-way is not a neutral participant in the city's confidential litigation strategy discussion of that survey, and is not shown to be a member of staff, council on that matter, subject to the discussion, or a person whose information was needed within for that subject. The city should state on the record whether this participant or any participant was recused or screened for conflict as to the East State Street matter and on what basis. That ends the allegation. This allegation is also wrong. It is not an open meeting law issue. Questions about a conflict of interest, which Attorney Tarrant states do not exist, are not an open meeting law violation. The specific issue was not generic to the entirety of the project. It was to the issues raised by certain abutters or interested persons, which would not be an open meeting law violation. The recommendation for this is to deny allegation number 4. Are there any clarifying questions by council members? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to admit or deny allegation number 4.
I'll move to deny allegation number 4.
Thank you, Councilor Alfano. Is there a second?
Second.
Councilor Doyle, thank you. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, the motion to deny allegation number 4, all in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Counselor Cohn abstains. That's 5 yeses, 0 nos, 1 abstention. The motion to deny allegation number 4 passes. Stick with me, we're almost there. Allegation number 5. Insufficient agenda detail. A meeting agenda, quote, shall contain sufficient details concerning the specific matters to be discussed, end quote. An item warned only as, quote, legal update, used to move into a closed session on 3 distinct and consequential subjects, did not provide sufficient detail and did not warn the public that a closed session was contemplated. That's the end of the allegation. This is also wrong. The agenda lists legal update with an attachment that spells out the specific items to receive the legal update on: homeless encampment, East State right-of-way, and ordinances. The attachment was part of the agenda, and it was sufficient under Title I, Section 312D3. Further, Mr. Whitaker was present, and his complaint that, quote, it did not warn the public fails, as that is a third-party complaint, not his to make. Should another individual complain, they would have, quote, standing to raise that, but not him, since he was there and he cannot legally raise issues of others. Regardless, it would fail substantively for the reasons explained. So the recommendation for number 5, again, is to deny. Any clarifying questions from council? Seeing none, the chair would entertain a motion to admit or deny allegation number 5.
I'll move to deny allegation number 5.
Thank you, Councilor Alfano.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Doyle. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, the motion is to deny allegation number 5. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? We have 1 abstention on Councilor Cohn. That's 5-4, none against, 1 abstention. The motion to deny allegation number 5 passes. We are now finished with this agenda item. I would just like to say that, in my personal opinion, that is a monumental waste of our time. Having said that, let's move on to item number 6, the chief recruitment. And then we'll move on to item number 7. I could have flipped them around for you, but thank you for your patience, Mr. Lachness.
Thank you all. So as you know, I had issued in our request for proposals for executive search services to provide assistance and consultation to me in the hiring of our next police chief. That RFP closed Monday evening, which is why we didn't have time to warn it for the regular meeting today. And so I appreciate it being considered tonight, because I would like to move expeditiously on working with the firm for this. So we received 2 proposals. I've included them both in your packet. I am requesting approval to contract with the first one, JW Consulting LLC, who have quite significant expertise in the hiring of police chiefs around the state of Vermont, acknowledging that they are more expensive than the second proposal that was received. However, based on the in-depth nature of their ability to assess the culture in the department, screen candidates according to that culture and fit, I think is critical support to my decision. Also, I would note it is, police chiefs are uniquely treated differently for hiring practices in the state of Vermont, different than other department heads. There's much more rules. There's greater stringency around being able to let them go should their performance not be satisfactory or it not be a right fit. And so it's really critical to me at this point to get it right and then get this hire right. As opposed to another department head where we may enter into a contract with mutual terms to dissolve employment. And so that would be my request for your approval tonight. We will have budget for this and right out of the police department budget from vacancy savings, and also carry over from additional funds in the general fund from this year too. So thank you for your consideration.
Are there any clarifying questions from anyone on council on this issue? Councilor Sheridan, go ahead.
Do we have any interest from within?
We do, and I think we will have some.
I mean, it's my, I sat on this when Chief Hoyt resigned, and I was part of the group that picked Tony. And I can tell you that there's no greater department head scrutiny than of the police chief. And I am in favor of hiring from within. They know the community, they know the norms, the culture, they know the players, they know the bad guys, so to speak. I would much prefer we hire from within, somebody who knows the other officers and just comes into this more prepared. That's why we picked Tony to follow Chief Hoyt. And so that is my preference, that we not waste the money, that if we've got people from within, we pick one of them.
Thank you, Counselor Sheridan. Other questions or comments from council? All right, not seeing any. I think the recommended action is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract for executive search services with for recruitment of new police chief and approve the budget for incidental travel expenses for candidates. And specifically, was it JW? Yeah. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Can you just say
Yeah,
that back to me?
alright.
Thank you.
I actually need it in front of me.
Yeah, take your time.
It's in the packet.
Here, we'll pass that down.
Say it, I have it up.
Okay,
If
thank
you
you.
wouldn't mind, Adrian,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
So I authorize the city manager to enter into a contract for executive search services for recruitment of a new police chief and approve budget for incidental travel expenses for candidates.
Okay, and I think she said I moved to authorize. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any discussion or debate?
So the answer to Jim's question was yes, we do have someone who will apply.
I believe so.
Okay.
Can I just, I
Go
would
ahead,
actually just
Councilman
add,
Will.
like, Jim, I really appreciate that perspective. And I hope we do get great internal candidates. I'm sure we will. I also think, though, that having like a robust search process this just like adds legitimacy and ultimately confidence to the person that is hired, even if they are an internal candidate, just knowing that they've gone through that process. And, you know, to Manager Curry's point, we just really have to get this right. And so I think it's worth it to go through the process in a robust and meaningful way.
Councillor Cohn.
Yeah, when Kelly and I were having our weekly meetings, she mentioned this, and I asked the same question if there are any internal candidates, and Kelly told me yes, but as far as I understood, she wants to have this process so she can also give credibility who are applying internally. So that's why, since this is under city manager's authority, and she wants to do that, I will support this motion. Thank you.
Great. Any other comments or questions or debate for that matter?
Well,
Councilor Sheridan, go ahead.
I will support it because, you know, we have the money from the police savings, but like I say, I hope we pick from within, because I think we need somebody who knows this community already.
Yeah. Great. Thank you, everybody, for that. So the motion before us is to authorize the city manager to enter into a contract for executive search services for recruitment of a new police chief and approve budget for incidental travel expenses for candidates. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Unanimously passes. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to move on to our third and final agenda item. The letter of interest. Is it interest or intent? The I. Letter of interest for the Isabel Circle chip. At this point, Manager Curry, do you want to tee this up? And then I would like to invite Mr. LaJeunesse to speak if he would like to.
Sure.
He's here, I assume he would.
Yep, quickly, and I'll turn this over to Matt Jalisik as well, who's been supporting this effort. So, you know, the developer is interested in applying for CHIP, and there is a requirement in that program in order for the city to participate in the endorsement and submission of that application, because we will be agreeing to that the tax increment funding the infrastructure development rather than coming into the city. And so this will be the first of our efforts, I think, in supporting a private developer in doing this in this way. And so we are learning a bit as we go along about what the state may require of the city throughout this. And, you know, this is an initial step to indicate support for this project and for the pursuit of the CHIP program. I'll turn it over to Matt. Did I miss any critical details or get anything wrong?
No, and I think that is very succinctly described. If the council would like, I can show you what the state's website looks like, because what we're really talking about is an online form that has to be filled out by the city. That's why we're here. And I could share my screen if you want to see it.
And I think we have a copy of it in the packet as well, Matt. That
Yeah, the copy that you have in the packet is my transcription of the online form. It's not downloadable. So I just retyped everything and provided the answers that Brian and Mr. Lajeunesse and I developed.
And I would suggest that you have Mr. Lajeunesse come up and talk about the project.
Mr. Lajeunesse, please join us at the table. Thank you. Just introduce yourself for folks on Zoom, please.
I'm Gabe Lajeunesse. I'm a resident of Montpelier, and I'm the sponsor of this project, one of the partners, but the managing partner. I'm grateful for an opportunity to come before you today. I also have Brian Pine that's here with us as well from White and Burke, who are advising us as we prepare for this. I don't know, there may be some other private developers that are at this stage, but you know, it's a new program that was authorized by the legislature, and we're trying to get there. So really, we're here to answer any questions you have. My understanding is, as we've met with Mike and Matt, is that to get the process started with the state, if you think of disaster response or any of these other programs that you might have, you make an indication to the state that you have an interest in applying for a program, and then they come back and they help you fill in the gaps that you might have in your application. So we're really just at a very early stage of this, and we'll flush things out as we go along. But there's a basic description, I think, that you had in your packet, and I'm happy to answer any questions there. And Brian obviously is an expert on TIF and is learning very quickly about CHIP and working on those projects, so he can answer questions specific to that.
Councilor Sheridan, go ahead.
I know the answer, but I'd like you to state it to the public that it is not the city that is going to be on the hook for this.
Yeah, so the last time we were before the city council, it's been a couple of years, but we were looking at a strategic partnership with the city. And in that framework, that there's a bond issue and there's some questions about how the liability would fall, if something fell apart in the project. What's different with CHIP is that the private developer is allowed to hold that debt, not as a bond, but as private debt. And so the recourse is upon the partnership, not the city. And so we would hold the debt for the infrastructure.
Thank you for informing the public of
Yeah.
that.
Great. Other questions from councilors?
Really grateful for this project. Thanks for
Yeah.
Oh, thank
Putting it
you
together.
all. You are heroic in your service.
Well, and the fact that you've been at it for so long and haven't just abandoned it,
It is,
really.
I will say, incremental development is wiser than these large projects. 5 years we're at this, so.
And so what we're looking for at this point is a letter from the city saying, yeah, we want to pursue this.
Yes.
And you're authorizing staff to submit this form to the state regarding this project that has to come from the city.
Right. That's sort of what I meant by letter, but yes, thank you.
Yes.
I'll move that.
Okay, we have a motion here to authorize the city manager and the mayor to submit the CHIP interest form for the Isabel Circle extension. Submission is preliminary and non-binding. It commits the city to nothing beyond signaling the intent to the Vermont Economic Progress Council and anticipating the application to follow. It preserves every point of council leverage over the terms that come after. Is there a second for that motion that was just made?
second.
Thank you. Is there any debate or discussion on this topic? Seeing none, I'm not going to restate the motion. We just restated it. All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye.
All right, I think I counted 6. Any noes? Any abstentions? Unanimously, we authorize the city manager and I to do this.
Thank you, everyone.
Mr. Legis, thank you for coming out and being so patient.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
We really
You're
appreciate it.
amazing.
All right, we're now moving on, and I think the rest of this is, it's not even 11 o'clock. I don't have, I think we're at other business now, is that right? Okay, any other business? Any council reports? Clerk's report?
Move to.
Manager report? All right. This special meeting of the City's Council of Montpelier is now adjourned. It is 10:47.